Good morning everyone. Today's story I'm going to read to you is Man on the Moon, A Day in the Life of Bob. And I've chosen to read this story to you because Reception are learning all about a space topic at the moment, and this is a really nice book to read. So let's have a little read of the blurb on the back and find out a little bit about the story. This is Bob. Perhaps you have heard people talk about him. You may know him better as Man on the Moon. Bob has a very special job, looking after the moon. He knows almost everything about it. But there's one thing he's blissfully unaware of: aliens. And the author and the illustrator of this story is Simon Bartram. So that means he's really clever because he wrote the story and he drew the pictures too. What do you think is going to happen in our story today? This is Bob. Perhaps you've heard people talk of him. Maybe you know him better as Man on the Moon. Wow, what's he wearing here? What's this? Yeah, it's a special spacesuit that people wear when they have a job where they have to go up to space or go to the moon. And what's their job called? It begins with an at sound. Yeah, they're an astronaut. Would you like to be an astronaut when you grow up and visit space? That would be a really interesting job to do. This is where Bob lives. Every morning he rises at 6 o'clock. He has a cup of tea and 2 eggs for breakfast before leaving for the rocket launch pad. On the way he stops to buy a newspaper and some chocolate toffees. He's on the way to work on the moon. Can you see the launch pad here? By 8 o'clock, Bob arrives at the launch pad, changes into his special Man on the Moon suit and boards his fantastic rocket ship. He must make sure he leaves by 8:45, otherwise he wouldn't make it to the moon by 9. So he has to get up and get ready really quickly to do his important job. On the way, he reads the newspaper and does the crossword. And there's his rocket. Would you like to travel in a rocket? Have to go really fast. Bob starts work. Can you see? What is he doing, do you think? His job as Man on the Moon is very important. He has to keep the moon clean and tidy. Quite often, astronauts drop sweet packets and cans. Who's doing the hoovering here? Do you help your mummies and daddies do the hoovering and tidy up at home too? That's very good. Some people say that aliens are responsible for much of the rubbish, but Bob knows that's not true. There's no such thing as aliens. Oh, have a careful look at this page. What can you see? I can see 3 tiny aliens. But do you think Bob knows that they're there? No, he hasn't noticed them. Funny alien faces. Can you pull a funny alien face? By 12:30, it's time to eat. Bob goes to his rocket ship to fetch his lunchbox. This usually contains 2 sandwiches, either cheese or peanut butter, an apple and some chocolate-covered nuts. Sometimes he meets his friends for a picnic. His 2 best friends are Billy, the man on Mars, and Sam, the man on Saturn. They talk about the stars and tell jokes. Have you ever been on a picnic before? What did you eat and what did you have to drink? After lunch, tourist spaceships start arriving from Earth. It is part of Bob's job to entertain them and give them something to photograph. What do you think he's doing? So he does somersaults and handstands and especially high moon jumps. Oh, I wonder if you could practice doing that at home. Can you do somersaults? Can you do a handstand? And really, really, really high moon jumps. Sometimes he performs for as long as 2 hours and is left quite out of puff. What do you think that means? How is he feeling if he's left quite out of puff? Yeah, it means he's tired from all this exercise that he's doing. Occasionally, the tourist spaceships will land on the moon. When they do, Bob gives them a guided tour and a speech. He tells them lots of facts, such as how many craters the moon has, or how long it takes to walk around it on stilts. Oh, I wonder if you could find some moon facts at home. What do you know about the moon? Sometimes people ask him about aliens, and Bob explains patiently that there aren't any. Afterwards, Bob opens a small souvenir stand. Here's the souvenir stand. Selling postcards, pencils, mugs and small plastic moon models. Have you ever visited anywhere before and bought a souvenir? If you look really closely at this picture, what can you see? I can see some tiny little aliens going into Bob's rocket. Do you think he realises that there's aliens going into his rocket? I don't think he knows. By 4:30, all visitors must leave the moon. Bob looks around to see that everyone has left. He checks inside any big craters in case anyone has fallen in. But there's never anyone there. Can you see someone there? It's the aliens. Can Bob see them though? They're doing a good job of hiding from him. The working day is nearly over. It is time to check everything is in order before leaving for the night. Bob packs away his equipment and any unsold souvenirs into his rocket. He switches the moon's nightlight before jetting off towards Earth. By this time he is very tired, but he still has to keep his wits about him while flying the rocket. That means he still has to concentrate. Oh, can you see anything in this picture? You can see someone's feet here. And some more aliens hiding in the rocket. Does Bob know that they're there? No, he hasn't seen them. As he reaches Earth, it's about 5 o'clock. The rush hour is in full swing with everyone leaving work and going home, just like Bob. Now, these people are also going home, but they're either walking or going on the bus or in a car or in a van. But how's Bob getting back to Earth? He's going in a rocket. At home, Bob is just like anyone else. First, he has a long bath. Moon work can make you very grubby, as sometimes the dust can get inside your suit. Then he goes to bed with a mug of cocoa and sleeps soundly, bathed in moonbeams, very happy to be the man on the moon. And aliens? You notice anything inside of his bath? See 2 eyes. I wonder who they belong to. Well, Bob would know if there were any. Lots of aliens. What do you think they're doing? Looks like they're having a party. Wouldn't he? So do you think that Bob knew that there were aliens back in his house and in his rocket ship? He didn't see them, and if you look really carefully at this picture, can you see any hiding? I can see some aliens hiding in a tree, in the window. Where else can you see them? One's on top of the roof. What was your favourite part of our story today? Thanks for listening, everyone. See you soon.